Hello everyone, welcome to the Malbeefance channel. This is turn 19 in our, or episode 19 in our series replay of Strategic Command World War II, War in the Pacific. For those of you that have been following along, you know where we're at. Things are really starting to work for the Allies. They're starting to get on the offensive. Big development in Manchuria with the Russian forces. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and advance a turn and see what we get. All right, Okinawa mobilizes its home guard. Chairman Mao inspires his forces ready to fight the Japanese. Okay, so how long have they been fighting the Japanese already in this game, and now he's out inspiring it? U.S. scientists report progress in ground attack weapons. Oh, we got a breakthrough. We're at 100%. So, ground attack weapons level 2. Awesome. Better bombs. And naval construction development up to 98%. That's for port facilities. Soviet scientists report spying and intelligence. They have a breakthrough. They are now at level 2. Communist Chinese develop logistics level 2. Australian amphibious warfare development up to 94%. So close, so close. There's our ledger for the upcoming turn. All right. What do we got? Japanese morale is boosted on holding a Greater East Asia Conference with its allies. That actually was a historical event. The whole thing was to try and solidify the whole co-prosperity sphere scam. It's like, no, it was a Japanese empire. All right, so we have some kind of Japanese air power out there at Roy. The continuing air battle over northern China. The Japanese are still putting a lot of effort into the northern Chinese campaign. Alright, so they pulled back the vulnerable units from the front lines. Anything else? Nope. Okay. So Nagasaki mobilizes the home guard. And Allied raiders disrupting Japanese convoys across the Pacific. Southeast Asia Command is formed under Lord Mountbatten's leadership. MacArthur is angry at Mountbatten's appointment as head of Southeast Asia Command. I can understand that. Two really stubborn hotheads like that trying to work together. It's like somebody has to be in command, and both of them decided that they were the one that should be it. Although I wouldn't call Mountbatten a hothead, but he definitely was stubborn. But it worked. He was the man for the job, just as MacArthur was the man for the job. He just had difficulty getting along with anybody else. Okay, so there's our activity summary for the previous turn. All of the supplies or production points the Japanese are losing for all that interdiction that we're doing. And U.S. intelligence has spotted an anti-air position in Saipan. Soviet intelligence reports an army in Nagasaki. Chinese intelligence finds spot fighters. And also they have found fighters down in Indochina. Our one lone reinforcement, what is that? 131st Corps. So unfortunately, nope. I'm having a hard time getting this guy to stay at any level of strength. They're putting a lot of pressure on him, so I'm going to see if I can get another unit down here to help swap out with him. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to keep this army here, the 10th Army. I don't think I'm going to be able to divert them up north. I think I'm going to have to pull them back down here eventually. Okay, so that is it for our reinforcements and our messages. So let's go over to the U.S. West Coast. Let's go ahead and get whatever improvements we can get done. All right, so these folks can now get underway. Alabama can go join the fight. Right, anybody else out in the water over here? Just at Hawaii, okay. I'm going to take a chance. All right, so who is this? This is 1st Marine Division. Just for the heck of it, let's go ahead. All right, so all they got is a garrison there. I don't think my submarine's going to be able to spot anything on land. Nope, didn't think so. All right, so I think that moves up everybody I want to move up. Oh, wait. 1st Corps. All right. So now moving on to Australia and any repairs we need to get done. There's a lot of damaged ships. Yeah, that way he's ready to go into port next turn. Man, the docks are just full of damaged ships. I know it's worse for the Japanese, but still. Alright, so I'm trying to get him back so that he can resupply his air group. But before I pull him south, yeah, you know what, just in case. Now, somebody's going to have to help me out on this one if you know. Reducing the port facility. Now, I know that it reduces the amount of production points that are available to the side that's in control of the port. But my question is, does it curtail supply to any units that are drawing supply through that port? Or does their supply come from the town that is connected to the port? Uh-oh. Okay, that didn't go as planned. Alright, so just to be on the safe side, go ahead and completely knock that out. Alright, I'll hang on to him for a moment. Alright, so what I'm thinking about here is I'm looking to see if I want to do any more air attacks before I bring the tanks down and try and do some damage. That's basically what I'm looking at here. Alright, I want to keep the bellywood on fighters. So I'll have two squadrons, or two air groups that are defending. Let's see if anybody's home. No, they are empty there. Awesome. Alright, I'll take the chance. There we go. Alright, a lot more damage than I thought it was going to get done. And I still got two strikes here. So let's go ahead and let's pile it on. The sooner we get this guy out of here, the sooner we can start moving on. I got to get these guys out of here. I got to get them off of Rabal. I doubt I'm going to be able to get much more done with them. Alright, so why am I not able to get them on transports? Oh, that's why. United States is out of production points. Alright, so I can't put them on ships or anything just yet. Alright, well, if that is the case, now do I want to move him? All right, so there's some good intel. Maybe not the best layout, but it looks like I don't have to worry too much about Japanese maritime bombers in the area. Now watch that comment will come back to haunt me. All right, I think that's going to do it for everything I can move around here. I could move him, but I like him staying right there because it keeps him in supply. So obviously I'm making a picket line here. So any remaining Japanese vessels that want to try and relieve the forces down here, they're going to have to take the long way around. Although I seriously doubt the computer's going to try and relieve these guys. Alright, so that's going to put the pressure on. Now I'll leave him here to defend the headquarters, although I seriously doubt they're going to see any attack. I'm going to have to get these guys out of here soon. Might be able, no. Keep forgetting the United States, I spent all of the United States' production points. So I can't put anybody on ships or anything like that right now. Although I can do this. Alright, that plan's not working out the way I wanted it to. There we go. Now I doubt any of these guys are going to be able to do any damage. But it was worth the try. Alright, so it doesn't look like I need this guy here anymore. But without any... Oh, wait, nope. Alright, so I'll have these guys start working over here. We go ahead and we clear up we get the base here, and I can go ahead and I can advance one. I think that's going to about do it for the Australia region. Yep. Now, these guys. So they still have good supply. Let's go ahead and move them, just in case anybody's hunting them. All right, so that brings us over to Sumatra. All right, so I've gotten some criticism for this operation, and it's fair. I did not start the invasion with enough forces, so that wound up putting us in the position that we're in right now. But I would like to go ahead and continue the operation, because it does put a lot of pressure on Singapore. It does put me in a position where I can shoot right across. I'll have air bases, all that wonderful stuff. I mean, yeah, I could go ahead and probably go ahead and push down and attack directly. All right, so the battleship can do both. It can sit in port, defend it, use those defenses, and also interdict. So now how these guys for supply? They're good. I'm going to leave them sit there, because I'm hoping to get a response. The Japanese have sent, what, like two, maybe three destroyers up here. Not really a significant force, but hey, every little bit helps. Now, I believe the Lion's Head share of the Imperial Japanese Navy has been sunk, but I do believe there's still at least a decent force out there. There's at least a few battleships. As mentioned, I can check, we can go ahead and we can check the reports on losses, okay, and it shows us Japanese losses. But my question is, okay, so what have they built? The game started with Japan getting additional production points as the turns go. So, who knows how much of this they've been able to replace. Okay. So where are the carriers? There we go. So only 3 carriers. When I was doing the playthrough as Japan, I built an additional 3 carriers. I know there is at least one fleet carrier out there. So I mean, yeah, it's just 1 carrier, but there may be more. So the idea is I just don't want to stick my head in a noose. If I can avoid unnecessary losses, that would be nice. Hang on. And as the saying goes, you can't make an omelet without breaking any eggs. I'd like to break as few eggs as I can get away with. Alright, so with the carrier having to go back for upgrade, I can go ahead and I can get these guys back for the same reason. The other ones here. All right. So moving on to Burma. Debating if I want to go ahead and close the circle. I don't know how much that's going to expose 7th Armored. And they are just light tanks. No, everybody's still... Okay, so I can keep him there. I don't have to advance him. And I will keep him here as a blocking force for the time being. All right, so down here in southern China, we've actually had some good luck in holding on and advancing down to the coastline. This weather is not helping. So hopefully as the weather gets better and I'm able to get a headquarters down here, which reminds me, do the nationalists have a headquarters coming? No, they do not. And I do not have enough money to buy one at the moment. All right. So hopefully I can continue to push down on Pekoy and Hainan Island, and we'll go ahead and secure a couple of ports down here that would be really helpful for naval operations in the South China Sea here. All right, so let me take the respite to go ahead and get some of these guys reinforced. Oh, wrong button. Let's get that weapons upgrade while I got the chance. Ah, you're kidding me. Oh yeah, we don't have a lot left. All right, so let's do this. Get out of there. It's worth it. Okay, we didn't take as much damage as I was thinking we would. Good news. the situation up here in northern China is not terrible. But it isn't exactly great either. But it looks like we're starting to stabilize the situation up here. All right, so there we go with northern China. Now moving on to the Soviets. Okay, so strategy that was suggested, and I admit I hadn't thought of it, but it's actually a good strategy, is to go ahead and get some Soviet submarines out here to help with convoy interdiction. So now, right now, we're not able to build any. So I'm guessing in sometime in the future, Soviet forces will be able to build naval forces, and then when that happens, we'll go ahead and we'll get some Soviet submarines out there. Right, so let's expand the front a little bit. So what I'm debating now is I really want to reinforce him, but I'd also like to keep the pressure on these guys. All right, we weren't able to take him out. We weren't able to eliminate the unit, but it's all the way down to 1 strength, and the computer may have some difficulty reinforcing him. Yeah, if they weren't defending Sing King, I'm like, okay, you deserve everything you get. All right, so that sets these units up to go ahead and put on quite the assault. Get any other units coming in? No, we don't. All right, so the Soviets are in a good position. We'll go ahead. What town is that? Highland. All right, so they're in a position to go ahead and defeat that army, Japanese 13th Army there. And then with that done, they can go ahead and they can push down on the Manchukuo capital and push on to Mukden. And that will leave Perkev's army to finish mopping up the last of the forces here, and then he can start pushing down into Korea. And hopefully I'll have some more reinforcements for him, some more units for him by then. All right, so I think that is going to do it for operational movement and combat. Too bad these guys aren't. If they were in a better supply position, I could utilize them more. And I got to get these guys off of Rabaul. All right, so let's go ahead. Do I want to do research or would I rather do reinforcements? Well, let's have a look at it first. So anything that we really need to do for the British. So they got one chit in industrial technology. Yeah. Speed that up. More money is what that is. And production technology reduces the cost of things. So, all right, so that cleans them out. United States doesn't have anything left. Let's see, Russia has only got 83 left. So since we're going to try and get their submarines out, let's go ahead and start researching better submarine warfare. Chinese don't have anything left. Mao's Chinese, I mean, they got 55, so insufficient. Oh, they got 16. Sorry, I was reading that wrong. All right, so they can't do anything. And Australia. All right, so that'll max out industrial technology for them. And they've only got 77 left. Let's go ahead. I'm thinking of just banking it. Yeah, well, I'll do it. There we go. All right. All right, so that is going to take care of this turn. Let's go ahead and advance a turn and see what happens. All right, first Marine tanks suffer attrition losses, but it's okay because they got the supply point now. U.S. scientists report submarine warfare development up to 92%. U.S. makes a breakthrough in naval construction up to level 3. And Australian scientists, naval weaponry development up to 98%. So close. First in inches. Australia develops amphibious warfare level 2. And develops production technology level 2. So a lot of breakthroughs there for the Australian forces. And our ledger for the up-and-coming turn. Okay, Pro-Axis Defenders of the Homeland, PETA. Okay, so that's what PETA actually stands for. All right. And here they're trying to tell us they protect animals. All right, so that Homeland Defense Force is formed. Oh, there's one of those carriers I was talking about. So they're home ported, where is that? They're imported Hong Kong, I think that was. Yep, they were only able to reinforce, what was that, 13th Army? Was only able to reinforce up to 5 points, okay. All right, so we got a lot of rain over the main Japanese offensive zone. Holy smokes, now that's some long-range interception right there. From the northern coast of Australia all the way to Peleliu? Wow. All right, the air war over Burma is back on. And the continuing air war over northern China. I really didn't expect that to let up this turn. So the Flying Tigers doing their best to win the air war in Burma. All right, defensive artillery helping out there. I think that is going to do it for Japanese attacks this turn. Just reinforcing their position in northern China. Not that I can really take the offensive up there. I'm doing the best I can just to maintain the defensive. All right, 17th Army is suffering supply losses. So I guess it's a good thing we went ahead and cut them off completely. Excuse me. I guess that PETA force in Malaysia gives the Japanese player a free unit. The film Destination Tokyo, starring Cary Grant, premieres in Pittsburgh. I don't believe I've actually seen this movie, but considering the time frame that it came out, I gotta wonder how much of it's propaganda and how much of it is good story writing. All right, so here is our activity summary for the previous turn. So this is what I like to see right here. Lots and lots of production points getting interdicted. Strangle the foe. All right, U.S. intelligence spots Boise headquarters in Indochina and a SNLF unit in Saipan. There is, what is this? An anti-air unit from Nationalist Chinese forces, and British get the Ceylon light cruiser as a reinforcement. I'm going to be daring, put him near the front line. United States gets the 11th Air Force. And the Soviets get 2nd Mechanized. So as promised, I will add that to his army. All right, so this is the 8th Route Army comes back for the Communist Chinese. Good timing there. All right, that's going to do it for reinforcements. So as usual, we'll start over here on the U.S. West Coast. All right, so more air power into the theater. And the artillery is able to get underway. All right, now everybody else we got that's trying to chop into the area. I think, yep, that takes care of that area. So now these guys. All right. So I mean, not that I've needed it, but I got some anti-air defense here now for the island. Keep scouting these units out, or these locations out. Now I know it's the computer, so the computer knows where all of my pieces are, but the idea is that if I go ahead and I keep scouting these locations out, number one, I'll know if they move any air units into these locations. But second, if it was a human player, if the computer programming, if the devs did it right, then the computer may be thinking that, okay, if I keep scouting these out, maybe I got an operation coming up soon. All right, so back down to Australia to go ahead and start or continue repairs and upgrades. So now my plan, once we have secured New Guinea, is I'll go ahead and I'll bring the Allied fleet up into the Philippine Sea and see if I can't draw any kind of a response from whatever remains of the Japanese Navy. The idea is to go ahead and I want to secure Palau and use that as a air base covering the invasion of the Philippines and Indonesia. So that's what I'm looking at there. And there we go. All right, so that clears out Japanese forces in eastern New Guinea. Now, can I get any of these guys out of here? Yes. Oh, I can get him upgraded before I get him out of there. All right, I can transport him. I'd like to upgrade him, but all right, well, if that's the case, let's go ahead and get the carriers closer to here. So now they got some fighter cover. I mean, I know I got fighters down here, but just in case I want some more cover. Make my little box. I'm going to have him get Hollandia. Because I don't think any of these guys are going to be able to walk through the jungle over to there. But now I also got to get all of these guys out of here. All right, so moving over here. Grab the supply point, they're going to need it. So before they attack, let's see what kind of damage we can do to help soften up. Oh, can they do it? Ah, so close. All right, so now that means I can move him. Alright, so now we know we got garrisons in both Dili and Kopang. The cruisers are not doing as well as I had hoped they would. Alright, so maybe I should stop that. I was debating whether to go ahead and have him hunting around here just in case any Japanese ships show up. But no, we'll focus on, keep the submarines focused on production interdiction. Now I've got somebody across this line because he'll be covering right here. All right, so we got a force pushing down on Palembang, and they've got a supply port. So hopefully we've got enough strength down there now. Depends on what the computer puts in for defense. I mean, Indonesia is extremely important to the Japanese production point total. So I can see the computer doing everything it can to protect Batavia. Which then would beg the question, why am I not sending a larger force? Well, at the moment, I don't have a larger force to send. And that's all on me because I haven't ordered more units, more ground units. And that is that. Oh yeah, one shot him. Sweet. All right, so major breakthrough in Burma. All right. So let's go ahead and see if we can't capitalize on that. The tanks or the fighters? Wouldn't have made a difference. Oh, sweet. 14th Air Force evaded damage both times. How's that for luck? And British Far East fighters were able to cover his escort. Awesome. Oh. Now 3 points better than none. And we have the advantage here. awesome. We have a unit outside of Canton. That is awesome. All right, where are the bombers? Those are the bombers. Yeah, we knew there would be interceptors, but we have our own escorts. Chinese Air Force is unfortunately just a tad bit outclassed. Well, now that was surprising. That was lucky. All right, so if we got this opening, let's go ahead and push it a little bit. So we'll switch over to defense here a little bit. It was worth it for those odds. Every little bit of damage I can do to the Japanese forces. All right, so it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do anything here. So let's just go ahead and hold the line. All right, now northern, maybe, just maybe. Now, if he hadn't retreated, maybe I'd have been able to take him out. Keep the pressure on. Get there. Put all the grenades. Tough call. Yeah. If the weather clears up, I may have an opening here where I can start putting pressure on Jingzhou, and the computer's either going to have to respond to that or surrender the objective. All right, well, let's see how far down these two roads we can get. All right, now our Russian friends. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have the artillery for this battle. And they are not going to go down without a fight. And even though they're out of supply. All right, well, they are on the ropes. Alright, so now we're in a position to go ahead and take the Satoru, the south half of Sakhalin Island. Alright, anything else? Alright, I moved that submarine. These guys, how's their supply? They're at 8. So in case you did not know, it is my understanding that a vessel that is on rating, convoy rating, that's what the little blue dot there is for naval ships anyway, they don't have to actually be on top of the convoy route. They can be adjacent to it, and it'll still work. However, I suspect there's probably a modifier to where they don't intercept as much as they could have if they were right on top of the convoy route. And I do believe they still get noticed. All right, so I'm just making sure that we took care of all of our units. Everybody. Now the cruisers will hold off because they're going to be escorting the Indomitable. All right. All right, so that's going to do it for movement and combat for this turn. So let me focus on, are there any units I can purchase? I don't think anybody's got, yeah, they can build more armies. I just need more money to do it. All right, well, the British have got plenty of naval forces coming, so there's no need for me to buy anything more there. And I've got a couple of ground units coming. So let me go ahead and we'll bank. We'll go ahead and we'll bank this so that we can go ahead and we can get another army in the field next turn, hopefully. United States. What do we got? The paratroopers are coming. A few more naval forces. I would like to get, I just would like to get another carrier out there. I'd like to get a lot of carriers out there. So I want to get Lexington back out. All right, that's going to do it for them. Soviets. Are there paratroopers on the way? Yes, they are. Okay. Definitely more tanks. Unfortunately, I can't upgrade him until he's actually out on the map because I just don't have enough production points at the moment. All right, so the only thing the Chinese can do with what they've got left is getting a garrison out there. I'm not going to do that. I probably could use another anti-tank or anti-air unit, but let me go ahead. I'm going to try and save up for that headquarters. I don't think they've got one coming. Nope. All right, so I'm going to try and save up for that headquarters that I need down there in the south. And the communists don't have anything that they can do except to get another garrison. So we'll bank them as well. Now, unfortunately, Australia has all of their army deployed, but can anybody else do anything? The New Zealanders can put out a corps. So let's do that. Oh, nuts. I just purchased a garrison. Oops. Mistakes will be made, unfortunately. All right, but I mean, I still is able to purchase the core. I just wasn't able to upgrade them. All right, so that looks like that is going to do it for this turn. It's also going to be the end of this episode. So once again, I appreciate all of you watching along with me and dropping your comments and letting me know your ideas on strategy. I do appreciate that because now I don't know. I've mentioned it before. I don't know if you remember, but this is I don't have a lot of hours in War in the Pacific. Okay. I mean, yeah, I have a lot of hours in World at War, so that is War in the Pacific coupled with War in Europe. But there are differences in the games. Mainly, the big deal is that you've got help. The Japanese have got help from the Germans and to a limited extent the Italians. And you're able to coordinate all three Axis powers. Um, but here with World War II, with just War in the Pacific, Europe is occurring as scripted, okay, as historically occurred. And so the Japanese don't really get any help. And so, now that's from a historical playability point of view, but also there is a difference in scale. The scale of the map in World at War is a bit uh, lower or a little bit higher up. Each hex covers a lot more ground than they do here. And so it changes strategy, it changes port availability, things like that. It can affect supply and everything. So I'm not relearning the game so much as I'm learning that, okay, certain tactics that work in World at War aren't necessarily going to work in War in the Pacific. So yeah, so people drop in comments about, hey, I think you should do this, or hey, if it was you, you'd do that. That's great. That it helps me out, gives me something to think about. Well, I mean, like the Soviet submarines. Probably would have never thought of that myself. I'm just like, no, spend all the money on the Soviet Army, on the Red Army. That way, I've got this sledgehammer to go after the Imperial Japanese Army soft-shelled egg. So, all right. So enough of that. Once again, thanks. Leave a like, drop a comment, all that wonderful stuff. Subscribe. We're still at 98, shooting for 100. And I will see you on the next one.